In my hands here, guys, is Topo's new Max Cushion Trail shoe, the Vista. I'm going to tell you all the things that you can't Google that you wish you could just ask your friend if you were out on a trail run. See if this might be the next major ultra shoe for you. First, though, the quick stats that definitely are important, guys. 38 mil in the back, 33 here in the forefoot for a pretty standard for Topo 5mm drops. I think the Terra Venture has 4, and there's a couple of road shoes that have 0. But yeah, 5mm drop feels to me very much like a 5mm drop shoe. And I will say that even at 38 stack, which is it's high, right? This shoe, it's a big shoe. It feels big in my hand. The box was huge, but it didn't ride that tall. Like, I definitely feel with this nice wide base, there was definitely a good sense of stability, as well as these side rails that come up almost around your foot to give you that added little bit more of stability. You can see even where the ankle is here, the sole comes out further than that, both in the midsole and in the heel, to give you some more of that added stability. It's got a ZipFoam midsole, very, very, very cushioned. Okay, this shoe is very comfortable to wear. I know that ZipFoam could be lighter. There are other compounds out there, and we'll talk about the weight of the shoe here in a little bit, but definitely a very, very comfortable shoe. One thing that I definitely love that I did not realize before I got this was you can see the big rocker here. The rocker does a number of things. It has helped propel me forward and make the shoes run a little bit lighter than what their specs say. Also, going uphill, they seem to give me a little bit more propulsion uphill. They kind of make contact with that hill a little bit sooner, and I don't have to work as hard to get my toe up, as well as just on general flats. I don't find myself, I have about 50 miles in the shoe, I don't find myself stubbing my toe or catching my foot on things. This is really the first big rocker shoe that I felt, and frankly, so far, I like it a lot. When it comes to the fit of the Vista and also all of Topo's shoes, they are known for having a nice wide toe box, a toe box that kind of fits the natural foot shape of your foot. The only other shoe that I've ever worn that had that really good shape was the Ultra, and I kind of went with these because of the drop. But I will say, I personally, and everyone has different feet, I love the fit of not only this shoe, but in the other Topo shoes I've worn. If there's one thing, there is consistency across the brand. So if you put your foot in the Terra Venture, the Ultra Venture, or the Mountain Racer, you can expect to put your foot in and get pretty much the same exact feel. Now, I've heard people say that they think the toe box is a little bit smaller. Frankly, guys, I have no idea what they're talking about. When I put this shoe on, I get the same awesome roomy toe box, but a nice tight midfoot and a nice lockdown in the heel. And that's what I've had so far. Guys, this is like maybe the love child between the Ultra Venture and the Mountain Racer. It's got that nice plush cushion feel of the Ultra Venture, but the nice stable underfoot and grip of the Mountain Racer, in my opinion. That's kind of how I feel. That's where you can kind of put the two together. You could wear the Ultra Ventures maybe up until like 50 miles, 100K. The Mountain Racer is probably less. This is definitely going to be, for me, like that 100K plus kind of shoe as far as like comfort and how your foot is going to feel after a long day and a ton of miles. As I just mentioned, guys, I love the fit of this shoe. I am definitely locked down. They give you another eyelet here so you can do that other heel locking, tying thing that some people do. I have not, and I've taken this thing fast, rolling hills, climb technical up, technical down, but more importantly, like those steep downhills that just your toes just want to bash into the front of the shoe, and did not have a problem at all. The longest run I have on this shoe is 20 miles. And like I said, no feet issues whatsoever, no hot spots. And like I said, some of them were down some pretty steep, like sketchy downhills, and my toes and my foot did not move inside this shoe. It has a nice little cushion on the tongue, nothing crazy. It definitely doesn't ride high. I know some people don't like low tongues, but on the tongue, they do loop the laces through this little system here. I don't know if they have a special name for that. I apologize, Topo, if you do. But it does keep the tongue pretty much in place. Like I said, over the 50 miles, I have not had to readjust the tongue of this shoe at all. They use a specialty insole, and I'm sure you can see it's got these little beads in here, which makes the insole very comfortable. But more importantly, it's a closed system, so it does not absorb water. And I'll talk more about water in a second. But right now, these actually stink. It is really, really hot and humid, and I'm soaking my shoes just from sweat every time we're out. And they feel really, really good when they're wet and when they're dry. More on the wet and dry, guys. I've run first through like some really wet, dewy, grassy fields, and it seemed to repel and take on water there very, very fine. I also fully submerged mine in a creek crossing or two, and the shoes definitely drained water very, very quickly within a quarter mile. No of that squishing like as you're running. There was none of that as I was going. They were definitely wet, right? There's definitely some foam padding and things that get wet in the shoe, but it definitely drained water fairly well. It wasn't the most exceptional shoe that's ever drained water for me, but it definitely did the job for what I needed to over the course of, like I said, a quarter mile or so. The 4mm lugs that are on this shoe did exactly what I needed to do. I know you could probably go up to 5, but for a majority of the terrain that I run, and at what I needed to do, the 4 mils and like I said, the Vibram Megagrip was absolutely fine. And you can see they've sectioned off pieces. I don't know the technical name. I'm sure there's a name for these little slits and cutaways here that they have in the outsole. But that just gave the shoe, like I said, a little bit more stability, kind of like an independent rear suspension. I hope you guys got that reference. If you're over the age of 35, maybe you got that reference. But that movie's hilarious. Anyway, it has a very, very nice fit with the outsole, and I love it so much. No complaints at all, and I don't see any wear or tear. Really, I've seen road, thick trails. They've seen sand. Like I said, no wear and tear. You shouldn't see any wear and tear after only 50 miles, but very, very happy so far. There isn't a rock plate in this shoe. It's stiff, but not too stiff. I wouldn't say like overly stiff, especially like I said with these cutouts. It gives just a little bit as you're stepping on rocks, give you a little bit more stability here, but there is no rock plate underfoot. One other major upgrade, guys, they changed their gaiter system. So they had more of a proprietary gaiter system on most of their other shoes, but now they've just gone with some Velcro in the back and their standard little toe loop on the front. Makes it a little bit more universal, so you can get a gaiter on there if a gaiter is your thing. I've seen people complain about the colorway of this shoe and how they use their big branded logos, guys. I got to be honest, if that's something that like makes you buy shoes, like the colorway, you're probably never going to, I don't know. Maybe you will. That's not something I think about. So if you think this is ugly, okay. It doesn't matter to me, but brand away, Topo. It's your shoe. And the elephant in the room before we get out of here, guys, which you will read probably on every review and hear on every review, it's a heavy shoe, all things considered. In the price point and for the stack height, I personally do not think it's too heavy. Okay, I've tested other shoes. Like, yes, we can go into the La Sportiva Prodigio Pros in the 225, 230 price point. Those shoes for me come in at about 10.4 ounces. I also just did a review of the Mount to Coast, one of the lightest trail shoes I've ever run in. These, in my men's size 11.5, came in at 12.8. Now, some people can notice that 2 ounces per shoe, and when they get wet, it makes them definitely feel a little bit heavier. I will say they're heavy, right? They are just a big shoe. Do I think they're like clunky? Definitely not. Do I think they run a little bit lighter with that rocker than they feel? Yes. But I'm not going to say by any means that they are the lightest trail shoe that you're going to find. Having run multiple 100s, I know that I'm probably going to slow down throughout the race. And later on, 75, 80 miles in, I personally am looking more for comfort underfoot, cushion underfoot, then I am looking to get a high turnover from a really, really light shoe. So would I race a 50K in this? Probably not. Would I race a 50 miler in it? Probably not. But anything over 50 miles, even 100K, this is probably going to be what I'm going to go for. Because like I said, for what I need over time, I am going to take stability, foot comfort, fit, and stack height over 2 ounces or 3 ounces per shoe. And that's really just going to be up to you. Do you want to, if you held 2 ounces in your hand, would you notice? I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a deal breaker for this shoe if you're looking for 100K plus. It might be a deal breaker if you're looking for under 100K. And in that case, you'd probably just want to grab for the Ultra Venture, if I'm being honest, because like I said, in the Canyons 100, I wore them for the first 50 miles. I just wish they had a little bit more stack. Here they are. But for 50 miles, the Ultra Ventures would have been awesome. I'd love to know your thoughts on the Vistas down in the comments below. Have you run in them? Definitely add to the conversation. Help other people that maybe have different feet than me or something like that. Definitely get down in the conversation. There's also a link down there if you want to join my free Discord group and talk ultra running. You can find me on Instagram over on Brad Trains. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you on the next review.